into that. NFL Sundays move fast, guys. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. And with FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the games moves fast, and so can you. All right, guys, we'll talk about Shedeur Sanders and the offense in a sec, but we're going to start with the special teams because that was an absolute catastrophe on Sunday against the 49ers. There were 4 unforgivable, inexcusable mistakes and 5 total mistakes, if you want to look at, from this Browns special teams unit. We put them in a nice little list for you. They allowed a 66-yard punt return, which set up the first touchdown for San Francisco. Gage Larvidan lost a fumble on a punt return. He also fumbled 2 other punts that he recovered. He had 3 fumbles on punts in the game, lost 1, recovered 2. You had Malachi Corley inexcusably catch a kick return at the 5-yard line instead of letting it go out of bounds. And then Andre Schmidt, after the Browns scored the touchdown at the end of the first half, kicks it into the end zone on the ensuing kickoff, allows San Francisco to start at the 35-yard line. Earlier,
I won't kill him for that one. That's the least egregious.
I didn't say, listen, they're mistakes. These aren't ranked in order. The Malachi Corley catch at the 5 is probably number 2 if we're ranking them in order. But, you and I were on the live stream yesterday. We were losing our minds over some of these special teams mistakes. I'm curious what Jason and Bull think because at the end of the game, our main talking point was this special teams unit's an absolute disaster.
It's so funny because the special teams unit was terrible. Like 2 or 3 games ago, there was another game where they had I can't remember exactly which game it was.
They allowed the kick return and the punt return touchdown.
Right. That's right. Okay. And then the last couple of weeks, they played a little better. Like you were getting some decent returns, no egregious mistakes. And then once again, a couple of weeks later, I mean, this was an all-timer. They lost this game mostly because of the special teams. And that was 90% of the reason they lost, or 80%.
I was thinking about that. The Jets game, you can like how many games has the special teams cost them? The Jets for sure.
This one in the Jets game.
The Bengals.
The Bengals that missed the kicks.
Yeah.
There's 2 wins.
Yeah.
This one, when you score 8 points, it's hard for me to say special teams cost.
Sure, offense takes some blame too, no doubt about it. But
so I don't know that I can put this one in that category, but those 2 for sure. And certainly, I mean, I'm not. Yesterday was atrocious on special teams.
All the Niners touchdowns were on short fields because of it.
Yeah.
Well, one was because
the
fourth down play.
But there's 2 wins right there.
Yeah.
That if special teams cost them wins against Cincinnati and the Jets for
and
sure.
This has consistently
and played a massive role yesterday.
This has been consistently an issue in the Browns organization for as long as I've been covering the team.
Yeah.
It's since Cribbs really. Since like early when I first moved here, you had what's his name was the special teams guy, Tabor.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Tabor. And you had Josh Cribbs, and the special teams were pretty good, like 2011. And then it seems like when Josh Cribbs left, the Browns have been jinxed and have had terrible special teams since Cribbs has been gone, pretty much.
Those, when we looked at it, even the kick in the end zone, like in the scheme of things, is the biggest thing on that list, but you just look at the situation of football. I've grown up watching teams like Jim Tressel. I've grown up watching coaches, in my era where Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots won football games based on having great situational awareness, understanding what you need to do in a kicking game, and not beating yourself.
Frank Beamer used starters at Virginia Tech on
Beamer, they
were always great.
These guys made it a point and an emphasis that's how they were going to win. And when you watch this football game, we look at it, McNuggets is like 27 and 51 mile an hour winds at the bottom of the graphic. And so I'm like, okay, the emphasis has to be like, let's minimize things, let's figure it out. And I thought in the first half they did a decent job of just making sure that they were going to make this game like the Miami Dolphins game. They scored the points right before the 2-minute draft. Shedeur throws a touchdown, and it looks like you're going to be able to go into the halftime with an 8-7 win or an 8-7 lead, and you get the football back at the end of at the start of the second quarter. You kick the ball in the end zone. That gives them an opportunity at the 35. They end up going down and ended up getting an opportunity to kick the field goal. They're up to 10-8 now. And
great play by Kittle to set it up. Nice catch.
I mean, it was a simultaneous catch. He did his thing, and it's like, man. So you come back in the second half, But the inexplicable nature of of Corley catching the rock and had to get his feet in bounds to catch it. If he just has 1 foot out of bounds, they get it at the 40.
How many times have you seen a guy intentionally put his foot out of bounds when he catches it?
Right.
For that.
And it just don't. I'm like, what are you like? That's your only job, Bull. That's your own. Like, you've been working on that. How do you not know that?
That was, I mean, I didn't even know that. Like, the Browns have had a number of really stupid plays. The only thing I can think of stupider they've done was what's his name who jumped off sides on that play a couple of weeks ago.
Cameron Thomas.
This may be even worse than that. I mean, this
is a mental error.
This is one of the dumbest things I've ever. I don't know. I have no clue what he was thinking.
Yeah, it's a brain fart.
I mean, and Larvidan, he is. I can't put him back there anymore. He can't hold on to the ball.
3 times he put it on the turf.
I mean, that's just crazy.
This also speaks to, I don't know what the number is now, 12, 13, 14 rookies on the team, 6, 7 undrafted guys. Well, this is what you get. When
Malachi Corley was a 3rd-round pick by the Jets, and they cut him after 1 year. So that, I know they're not a good organization either. But, like, I don't know, the guy... They have some stupid football players.
Well, that was a mental error. Like the muff punt return, of course you don't want that to happen. It's going to happen sometimes, especially with those wins. Do you want it to happen? No. Is it excusable? No. You got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
But that at least makes a little bit more sense than catching a ball as you're falling out of bounds on a kickoff. That's just a mental error.
And you can't have both happen simultaneous possessions. You can't. So the defense bails you out, right?
Yeah.
So that you end up. We almost got a safety on that play. And when he catches the ball inside the 5 or whatever the case may be, we punt it to him. And the defense does a good job, right? You're still down 17. I believe it was 17-8. You're still down.
Yeah.
Correct. It was a 9-point game. Yep.
So it's a 9-point football game. They punt the ball back to you.
Right.
You put it on the turf inside your own 20.
Right. That was the
That's
game. That was it.
That's game.
I don't know if the Browns were scoring anyway. That was the death knell.
And, you know, sometimes people say, well, not one play can cost you the game. There's some plays that, that's a wrap. You're not coming. When you are the Browns and what you're trying to do offensively and you got rookies playing and you're deficient. I thought another thing, we'll probably get to it. The run game looks solid. Jack Conklin goes out of the game, and then that was all she wrote.
Well, you had 3 offensive linemen in and out of the game.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
And then the whole thing. Do you know why Wyatt Teller was rotating?
I have no idea because I wasn't there. I wasn't at the game yesterday, so I don't have any insight on that.
Teller said post game.
Yeah.
And read into what you want to do. He said, "I knew all week this is what they were going to do." This was a strategic decision by Stefanski for one reason or another.
I knew what they were going to do. He said that. Was that his exact words?
Well, is in the rotation. Like this was not a surprise that he was getting pulled every other series.
So they're trying to get guys ready for next year. Is that what's going on here?
I mean,
Jenkins is
he's not under contract either. So I have no explanation. I mean, listen, the line's been in shambles all year, right? Like Joel missed badly on the 4th line. I don't know what happened.
Joel and Wyatt are not playing well either.
But that hasn't been the tackles have been the bigger issue than the interior. So I was a little bit surprised by this because the tackles have been a 5-alarm fire. Right. And the interior hasn't been great, certainly. But it's been better than, It's
been serviceable, but not what we expected in the past.
Yeah. So I was surprised by what happened with the rotating. I wish I had a better answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
All right, we'll get into all of that. But, special teams a disaster, Mike.
One more question on special teams, and we can move on. We'll talk Shador in the offense. We all liked the Bubba Ventrone hire when it was made. He came over from Indianapolis.
They made him assistant head coach.
Yeah, he was a highly
They were going
candidate.
to keep Prefer. They were keeping Prefer until Ventrone became available.
Right.
And then they fired Prefer and hired Ventrone.
Do you think he can survive past this year?
No.
Do you think they have to make a change?
You have to change.
No, you have to make.
You have to make a change.
There's nothing.
Like he may go on to be a wonderful head coach. someday.
It doesn't
just
matter.
because you're having all these gaffes now.
Right.
But at some point you got to have some accountability to that's your unit. That's what you're responsible for.
No, he's got to go.
It's not even like if it was missed kicks, I wouldn't even put that on him.
No.
But when it's coverage, when it's blown coverages like this, what else are you doing?
Yeah.
This has to be your job and your assignment.
If a player catches a ball at the 5-yard line like that, he's coaching's playing a role in that.
Yeah.
I know it's a brain freeze, but come on, he's got to be coached up. It's got to be natural.
He knew as soon as he did it, he made a mistake.
Yeah, of course. Doesn't matter.
And you know what? It's one of them things where. So Tyvis said something the other day, and he is like, "Listen, when I was at Ohio State, I used to be with Urban Meyer, and Urban Meyer used to do things where you was literally scared to make a mistake. Like I always found it weird that the same people that used to play under Nick Saban, who could not, you couldn't step out of line.
Yeah."
They go to the league, and all of a sudden, how you a problem, and you play with Nick Saban?
Yeah.
The reality of the situation is sometimes you need people to be scared to make mistakes because that might be it.
And that's hard.
And the problem with the Browns, and you mentioned something, when you have young players, right? When you have young players and your players are young, and the best players that you got on certain positions is young guys, people on the team have a propensity to step out of bounds and do what they want to, because there's no veterans that are like, not only are we veterans and you're not about to get away with that, but we are the best people on the team. So not only we're the best guys on the team, we are veterans as well. So when you look at the offense and you look at some of the stuff, people yelling back and forth, and Jerry Jeudy and some of this other stuff, and guys taking the ball and stepping out of bounds, that means you're not locked in. That's inexcusable. You are a return guy. Malachi Corley, you are in the league because you do special teams.
And he runs end-arounds. Don't forget about those.
That's it. You forget about his end-around game. Don't forget about that. But you can't do that, because those little moves like that puts you in a position where it's like, and no disrespect to the 49ers, but there was times where the Cleveland Browns, I felt, outplayed the 49ers in certain aspects of the football game. But the 49ers, you know what they did? They understood the task and said, no, we're not going to beat ourselves, and we're not going to actually, you know what, if the clock is going down, we're going to call timeout. And we're going to get to it in the right play.